Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew Stott, I'm the Emperor of Stomaria, and today I want to talk about our trip to Lithua. Now, if you've watched my last video, you'll probably think that I only have one shirt, but I'm actually making these videos one after the other and then just gradually releasing them. So you'll have to tolerate the same attire for the next maybe two videos after this. We'll see what the sun's doing and how long this video takes. But this video, I want to discuss the trip to Lithua and how that went, because as I said in my previous video, a lot of people already know what happened because we have posted it on our Facebook page, on our Discord server, on our Reddit subreddit, and Twitter account. So if you're on those platforms, you might already be at least somewhat familiar with what happened. But I know there are people who do just follow us via YouTube, and so they want to know what happened. And so that's what this is. So the trip to Lithua. When we got to Lithua, it was no problem at all finding it. I say that, I lie. The sat nav. This is just a little side story, not very exciting one. But when I was driving through Wales, because it's in sort of central Wales, where the Kingdom of Lithua is based, I wasn't paying attention to where I was going, and I missed a turning, and the sat-nav tried to recalculate, but by that point we were just in the middle of this field, this valley, and there was no internet and it wasn't having it. And I was obviously like, well, I'll tell you what, we'll just have to keep on driving, say north, because we were coming from the south. It's got to be up in that direction somewhere. We'll just keep going until we find a village or somewhere where stronger internet signals may be found. And we came over the crest of this hill, and all I could see for miles was just hills and sheep. And I thought to myself, this is not going to end well. I was half expecting to sort of find myself in in some sort of like horror movie situation where you'd find, in the middle of the woods somewhere, trying to find someone to give us directions or something like that. But fortunately, the internet kicked in and directed us to Lithua. So that was a crisis averted. Now, when we actually got to Lithua, now the river, the two rivers, because the island is in between two rivers, for those that don't know, because the Kingdom of Lithua is an island micronation. And on that particular day, Princess Claire of Lithua was concerned that the speed of the river was just a little bit too fast to safely cross, because you do have to sort of wade across the river at this time to get to Lithua. As I understand it, they are looking at potentially putting a bridge in, but they'll need to talk to the local council about that sort of thing and all that jazz. So at the moment, the only way to get to Lithua is to walk there in waders or Wellington boots, and she was concerned that it wasn't going to be safe enough. So unfortunately, we didn't actually get onto the island itself, but we got some lovely photos of us sort of walking around the river line, not shoreline, what is it? Riverbed? River edge, that one. So we could actually see the island. But as I said, we couldn't actually get there physically, which was a shame. But that's not the end of the world, because we weren't intending to spend any major length of time there, because even though that Lithua is the island, the embassy, if you like, is actually a residential property, a lovely home actually, very very sort of old rustic farm like. I know King Raoul of Wayward was very impressed with it. He loved that kind of that style to it, and so we had a meeting there, which was lovely because we had all three families there. We had Princess Claire and the Queen, and we had King Raoul, Queen Lil, and Prince Torrin, myself, Empress Samantha, and little Princess Eleanor. And I do love it when Princess Eleanor gets to play with Prince Torrin, because they're such a, I don't know, they're like a cute couple. It's cute to see. I didn't see it myself, but I'm told that Torrin actually lent in for a little kiss at one time, and apparently Eleanor sort of recoiled a little bit. So he's not won her over yet, apparently. But it is sweet to see them sort of holding hands and just being, escorting each other one way or the other, playing hide and seek, especially with me. So that was quite a challenge, to be honest, trying to have this conversation, these meetings, as trade agreements and discussions about micronationalism. And you got a little girl here going, "Daddy hand, Daddy hand, Daddy hide, Daddy hide." So that was a little bit tricky, but yeah, it was a lovely day out for the family and for everyone concerned. So on the actual day itself, we concluded a trade agreement that we had agreed in principle some months ago, actually. And we got some cured salmon and some wine that was actually made in Lithua, which to be honest, we all had a sample of the wine, which was lovely because I'm not a big wine drinker myself. Samantha certainly enjoys wine, preferably red. This is white. I think we got 5 bottles of white wine, Chardonnay no less, and so we had some of that, and it was quite sweet. And I'm got a notorious sweet tooth, so that was very nice. But everyone enjoyed it, so we scooped up 5 bottles of that and a very sizable salmon, cured salmon, and we actually have had some of that as well, and it was delicious. I mean, it was really weird because I've had salmon before, hundreds of times, obviously, but there was something about this particular salmon which was just really, really nice, and we still have quite a lot of it, and I'm going to see if I can give some to our family as well, because you never know. I mean, more people try this cured salmon, this special recipe that they have, or certainly the way they do it. Maybe there's a market out there for it from us, so maybe we can accumulate that with Stomarian status, and then give it to other people for fiat currency, which we can then take and convert into additional Stomarian status by putting it towards the minting of the production of more Stomarian status. So maybe that can be a thing. In terms of the wine itself, likewise, I mean, we're going to be likely gifting 1 or 2 of the bottles away, but we will potentially even be selling some. I know the Kingdom of Wayward, King Raoul of Wayward, has already said that there's potentially a market for that in his area. He might know some people who might be interested in that. So we could potentially be taking 1 or 2 of those bottles and trading those or exchanging those for fiat currency. But if there are other micronations, micronationalists that want some wine, Chardonnay that's micronational made, it has the label and everything on it, made in Lithua, and if there are any want that, and they might want to trade Stomarian status for that, so that could be that. This is the thing. This is what I'm talking about. This is this trade network that we're trying to establish. A lot of it, I want to use the Stomarian status. That is the point of it. But at some point, it might be nice to allow us to sell the products of that micronation, whichever micronation it might be, to the macronational world in order to inject fiat currency into the treasury of Stomaria or whoever else, and they can put that towards something that develops that micronation further. Because obviously, we can't slap Stomarian status down and pay the electric bills with it or anything like that. So you have to have that blend, at least for the time being. But the idea is to reduce reliance on the pound sterling, on fiat currency in general. And Stomarian status is a good way of doing that. And we have accomplished that. We gave Princess Claire of Lithua 10 stater coins, so 50 staters, with each stater being worth 1 gram of silver, so 50 grams of silver, which was valued at, I can't remember now, it was probably around 27, 30 pounds, around that sort of figure, which is what they said that they would consider a fair price for the wine and the fish, around 30 pounds. So I said, that's fine. Here's 10 staters, 10 stater coins. I always get, this is something other people do as well. And when they say 10 staters, they mean 10 stater coins, but each stater coin is actually made of 5 staters. It's like having a £5 note, and each coin is worth, is the equivalent to that £5 note. You don't say I have, if you have 2 £5 notes, you don't say I have £2. You have £10, and it's the same with the stater. If I have 2 stater coins, it's not 2 staters, it's 10. So that's something that I don't know why I struggle with it myself. I know certainly other people do as well, but that's just a little side thing. So I gave them 50 staters, 10 stater coins, for all these products. And as I said, we've had some of it already. We still have all the wine, going to do something with that. Had some of the fish, going to do some more stuff with that. Raoul of Wayward, they came and they gifted some, what was it? Buddleia, like a small potted plant that they actually grow at Wayward. And as it turns out, the Queen of Lithua loves Buddleias, and so they're going to plant them on the island itself to attract more sort of, bees, butterflies, all that jazz, because it's a conservationist micronation, much in the same way, at least in part, Wayward is. So that was very meaningful. And they also gave them some Waywardian eggs. And I say Waywardian eggs, but they were actually Moorlandian, Waywardian, and Stomarian eggs. There's a photo, a lovely photo, of these 12 eggs, 4 brown eggs from Moorland, 4 white eggs from Wayward, and 4 blue eggs from Stomaria. And I just thought that was really nice. I mean, that was, it really was just a nice day. And we had a lovely barbecue. We discussed things regarding our Micronations, and discussed the wider Micronational community, poked fun at the right people. Certainly discussing some of my recent videos concerning like Micronational war, for instance. That tickled everyone there a little bit, and for good reason, because I think even Lithua was actually mentioned in one of the condemnation or war posts or whatever it was, and they found that very funny, and were very proud and pleased to be included in that. They thought it was something of an honour, a milestone, to have a Micronational war declared against them. But yeah, we discussed things more generally, more broadly, and where we wanted to take our Micronations, our communities. And the Kingdom of Lithua is going to be one, I think, that is going to stand the test of time. It's going to be one that I think is going to prove to be a valuable partner of Stomaria. Because, just to reiterate, the Kingdom of Lithua is an ally of Stomaria. They don't form a part of the Empire of Stomaria itself, because they don't want to give up the formal relations that they have with other Micronations, which is a condition of becoming a part of the Empire of Stomaria, because the foreign policy has to be dictated from top down. We can't have Micronations that form a part of Stomaria having relations or different relations with other Micronations. For instance, Wayward might have a trading relationship with Micronation A, but Micronation A might have declared war against Molossia, and it just wouldn't make sense. So we have a unified foreign affairs policy, which is dictated effectively by me, but I don't, arbitrarily say yes to formal affiliations. I normally approach the member states, if you like, the observer states, the associated states, and eventually protectorates, as to who's applied, why I think it might be a good idea to include them, and just get their feedback on it. Because at the end of the day, even though it is an empire, even though it's a federal monarchy, even though I am the monarch, and an absolute monarch at that, I do want to make sure that people are included in that kind of decision-making process. Because when we introduce new Micronations into the Stomarian Empire, that affects everyone involved in some form or another. They might, bring something new to the table that other Micronations don't have, but they might also cause controversy or conflict, not in a Micronational war sense, but in terms of friction or tension with another micronation that, I don't know, maybe they had beef with or something like that. So I like to involve other micronations and micronationalists that already form a part of Stomaria in that decision-making process. We wouldn't have had that issue with Lithua at all, but Lithua wanted to maintain the connections they had, which is fine. It's not the end of the world. They are still going to be an incredibly valuable trade partner. And even further than this, we thought about ways in which we might be able to integrate Lithua into Stomaria in some way, despite them not forming a part of Stomaria itself. And one of the suggestions was that, like Princess Claire, for instance, she's not the highest authority of that micronation. Her brother is, King John, who we've yet to meet because he was working on that day. Unfortunately, he was called away. But the suggestion, for instance, that Princess Claire could herself become a private citizen of Stomaria, and not integrate Lithua into Stomaria, but just simply become a Stomarian citizen. And in that way, if we purchased land in Wales, around where Lithua is based, Princess Claire could potentially become a governor of that territory on behalf of Stomaria without integrating Lithua into the Sumerian Empire, if that makes sense, because we would have our own territory there that needed governing, someone to look after it. They could utilize it, they could, raise livestock or grow vegetables or install a solar panel or something, I don't know. It's still something that we're discussing, and obviously we require the land for that to happen, but that's the sort of thing that we're looking for at this point, finding ways in which Lithua can be integrated more directly into our network, if you like. But I mean, they're already head and shoulders above most micronations in terms of micronations that I have respect for, and micronations which I think are going to add value to Stomaria. So I think that just about covers everything that I can think of off the top of my head. If I have missed anything out, I'm sure I'll kick myself for it later. But yeah, the trip was fantastic. The Waywoodians loved it, the Stomarians loved it, I think the Lithuans loved it also. Very appreciative of the Queen and Princess of Lithua for being such excellent hosts. I mean, it really was lovely. I did feel incredibly guilty of not being able to eat more at the barbecue. They put on a lovely spread. They just kept piling on the food. I'm sorry, I just can't eat that much. We did take some home, and we did have that later on that evening, I have to say, but it was just a terrific affair. It really was. So yes, I mean, if you did want to become a part of the Stomarian community, then you can do so through our Patreon campaign, the link of which I shall leave in the description below as always. Excuse me. But you can also find the details of the other micronations that are involved in Stomaria, including the Kingdom Lithua. You can find all those details in the description below as well, including all of their Patreon campaigns. Just as an aside, just because you are a Stomarian citizen, if you join Stomaria, you can still join, if you so wish, the other micronations that we list below, or indeed any other micronation you wish. We do not restrict citizenship just to one micronation. Indeed, a lot of the micronationalists and a lot of the citizens that's a part of Wayward or Slowjamastan or Stomaria, they're all joining each other. So that's just something I wanted to point out, because we're not arbitrary in that way. It's not a case of if you join us, you can't join them. So I just wanted to make that clear in case there are any people who are not quite sure. If you want to join Stomaria, Slowjamastan, Lithua, Wayward, and Moreland, go and join all of the Patreon campaigns, because they would all appreciate the support. And we all have citizens, we all recruit citizens the same way. We all do it through Patreon, where you pay a £1 pledge a month. But I've made videos better on that in the past. But anyway, yes, if you did enjoy this video, then please feel free to give it a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll catch you in the next one.